Can a seller back out of a purchase contract with a buyer? What are their options? Let's say you agreed to sell your home and now you no longer want to sell your home. What can you do? Is that allowed? It's a great question. Let's jump right in. The correct answer to this in Nevada is it depends. Typically, the seller cannot back out, but it depends. And here's why. In a contract, you have things called contingencies. And contingencies, there's typically a lot of contingencies for the buyer and not that many for the seller. The buyer gets to have the home inspected. The buyer gets to get an appraisal. The buyer gets time to make sure that they can finalize their loan. And all of these things are in the buyer's favor. They get all this time allocated, and if any of that doesn't come through, they can back out and they can get their earnest money. But if you as the seller want to back out, you're getting cold feet, you have emotional attachment, or you were planning to move because of a job and now that job's fallen through and you don't need to move anymore, you may not want to sell, you may want to back out, but can you? And the answer is it depends. So if the buyer can't get financing, you can cancel it. You don't have to give them the opportunity to extend their contingency time. So let's say the appraisal doesn't come in and the buyer wants you, the seller, to lower the purchase price to the appraised value. Now, while that might seem reasonable, you don't have to agree to it. The buyer absolutely can agree to cover a low appraisal if they really want your home. But for the most part, no, sellers can't back out for just any reason, just because they don't want to sell the home anymore. But you've entered into a binding contract. You'd be breaching the terms. You definitely need to talk to an attorney. You want to make sure you know what the repercussions are for you and the consequences for doing such.